Good evening and welcome to The Truth
Behind
the Truth.
Yes.
Guys, thank you for your patience this evening. Well, first of all, I want to address that for our, our somewhat tardiness this evening, but we had a little technical difficulties going on, but we got it together. So we're here and we thank you for waiting for us to hear the truth behind the truth that we're going to be sharing with that tonight. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Oh my gosh, 2021 is here. And boy, we're going to dig into a lot about 2021. Okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
It is. I want to welcome our YouTube viewers as well as our Facebook family, as well as our soon-to-be Instagram family. Without further ado, our co-host, bring him on right on in, and Harold Laval.
Yes.
What's up, sir? Hey.
Yes.
Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
We made it.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I mean, without question. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, without question. I'm excited about that. I truly am good. You know
well, I was about to say, we worked. I know I worked through New Year's. I worked about 12:30, but goodness gracious, I don't know. I just felt New Year's wasn't New Year's. It's not the typical New Year's. Now that everybody, I don't know about in North Carolina where you reside, Harold. I know here we couldn't do too much celebrating.
Right.
We had to, go home and, at least celebrate within the confines of our home.
Right, absolutely.
But just I don't know. New Year's, I think I'm so used to what they call it, midnight services. What they call it?
Watch night services.
Watch night services.
Right.
And at least having either some type of brunch gathering, even though it's not brunch because it's not doing. But you grits and all that stuff that go along with the AM and whatever you do for some people, they cook ribs, some people just do fireworks.
Right.
But it was okay. I was really
well. The thing that excuse me, guys, for looking down. I was trying to get some more posts out here, so I apologize for looking down and not looking at the camera. I'm still here with y'all, okay? Multitasking at its best, yes. But the one thing, just to speak to what you were saying about all that, the new year coming into me is always very sentimental, okay? And the number one is just being like very grateful for, for the opportunity of being able to see a new year, because especially, coming out of 2020 with all of the people that we have lost, and at the end of the day, and being grateful that we were not a part of that number. At the end of the day, especially being on the front line, as essential workers as you are, and before I change from other position and being essential worker, I still am what I even do now. I'm still in the public eye, But realistically, I always looked at the new year coming in as you be with somebody you love, be with somebody special, because there's an old wives' tale. They say whoever you kiss when the new year comes in, the person you'll be with the rest of your life.
Right.
So but you probably remember the episode of the Golden Girls when the New Year was coming and Blanche was running around talking about I got to find somebody to kiss. Yes. Because she said I cannot go into New Year's without kissing somebody. Okay.
I gotta go back and find that episode. I didn't know that was a New Year's episode.
It was either New Year's or Valentine's, but I think it was New Year's. Because she said I can't go to because she said if I don't kiss somebody, then my life is going to be a wreck. I'll be all over the place. Or something she said anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find that episode. I didn't know it was a New Year's episode. Right, I thought it was just another version of A Midsummer's Night's Dream. The play of A Midsummer's Night's Dream where, you have all she was doing I know she was holding a party. And she had all these different types of men.
Right.
And you had Sophia talking about, is that the same episode?
No.
That's where my mind was at.
Wasn't that
for us Golden Girl fans, people. We're sorry that you don't watch it. But that my mind was like, and it was that New Year's Eve episode?
Right. It was something like that. You're a Golden Girl. Harold, you're a Golden Girl fan, aren't you?
I am. I haven't seen it in a long time because I don't have a TV.
Right. Yes. But you can go online. Okay.
You can go on YouTube actually and see them. Yeah.
But that is our typical go-to TV. I mean, we're just ready to the news and the Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls. I'm just, people always like to throw away a television show because it's a bunch of old women, throwing shade or throwing some type of petty, the writing, we talk about this all the time when it boils down to great TV shows. Great writing is everlasting. It's timeless.
Right.
It would never grow old. I don't care if you watch Martin. I don't care if you watch The Golden Girls. I don't care if you watch whatever show that you watch.
One that has great writing.
One that has great writing.
Right.
It's timeless. It would never get old. It would never get corny. It would make sense.
Right.
And The Golden Girls, I did not start watching that show until college.
Okay.
I didn't get attuned to that show until college because you get bored, you study, and you're like, okay, let me just watch something. And I watched 2 to 3 episodes. I said, I could not believe growing up I fell asleep on this show. This show is absolutely hilarious. And Sophia has always been my favorite besides Dorothy.
Right.
Dorothy, I don't know. Sophia is Blanche and it's Dorothy. I would say Rose is up top, but it's something about Sophia. You can't beat that. That's some old ultra shade.
Right. Well, of course, they gave her the ultimate character.
They really did. That's oh my goodness.
But like you were saying, just classic writing. I mean, to me, out of writing, and you being a writer, Harold, you can probably elaborate on this. Is that to me, out of all of the I would say in the past 60 years of TV writing, to me it has been which was I Love Lucy and The Golden Girls. They have the both of them are timeless. I don't care how many times you sit in front of the television and see those episodes over and over again. They always find a funny bone for you. Right. At the end of the day. So that's very, very good writing. We were talking about Lucy the other day. We were watching the Big Long Trailer.
The Big Long Trailer, yeah.
And one thing about Lucy. Yeah, the one thing about Lucille Ball is that most people didn't realize is that she was such a master at her craft that she rehearsed every one of the physical comedy before they shot it, whatever it could be. So she wanted to make sure that it was perfect when they actually shot it, filmed it.
Fun fact. But she wasn't really funny in her personal life.
Right.
So because she was an actress, but she wasn't considered a comedian.
Right.
She always credited, so for these old Hollywood fans, if you know who I'm talking about, I know she was a friend with Judy Garland. She said Judy Garland put her to shame with comedy.
Okay.
That was a friend of hers that died before World War II. She was married to, oh my gosh, to Clark Gable.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, her name was Carol somebody. Carol, whoever.
Lombard?
Carol
Lombard.
Lombard. Carol Lombard. Actually, why she started the I Love Lucy show? That she had passed some years before the show came about. So Lucille Ball credited her in a dream.
Oh wow!
She came to her in a vision.
Oh wow!
Because they were very close friends.
Okay.
Before she died, because they did a lot of movies together at that time in the 30s, and she said she credited that. She told her to do it, even though it was television at that time. Movie stars to do television in the early 50s. That was like the lowest of the lowest of the totem pole. To come from Hollywood to television, that was the worst thing for any Hollywood star at that time period. But she said, "Go on and do it. It's going to be successful in the dream."
Right.
So she always credited that, her vision. Yeah, coming to her and telling her that
power of dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Harold. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying the power of dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power of dreams. I mean, we could probably do a whole show on the dreams that I've had and that have come to pass, and what have you in that regard. But no, the power of dreams is true if you just really follow them. Because they really speak to you. I mean, they really, really speak to you.
Well, there is an old saying that you must remember probably it was when we growing up. My mom used to say, "Remember what you dream,"
right?
Because you never know. Because there have been times
it is. So many different spiritualists and different people have tried to say that is your reckoning. You feel like when you want to explain it, you feel like you're too far out there. You know what I mean? And it just you know, I did think it just evolves from that particular point. Ian, you know, hey, mom was putting posted that God speaks to dreams. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Do you think God speaks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, you know that I want to. If I could break this dream down in quick segments, I'd share it with everybody. You know, I'll try. Okay, because it's a lot to it. It's very intricate, but I'm trying to find a way to get to the points in it. There was the day that my mom transitioned. I told you, you've heard this story before. I was talking about dreams, how God speaks to you in a dream. One of the things that I had asked God about, asked our Creator about, was when my mom was going to transition, that He would let me know. Okay. And I was like, and I really believe that He'd let me know, you know, about the whole process. Okay. So this particular, you know, she had already been, you know, had been ill, you know, going through the whole 9 yards and what have you. So this particular day or night before, this is back in Atlanta, and I was, you know, was a prominent aerobic instructor and all sorts of back at that time. But the dream was the Monday of, so that Sunday night when I went to bed, I had a dream that showed me the complete Monday. So what happened in the dream is that I went to teach my aerobic class, and normally in my aerobic classes that it's really abundant and everybody having great fun, and you know, women all over the place. There was women like about 60 women in this class. Mm-hmm. So that particular day, I had the dream of how this class was. Okay, so in the dream, the class was excited like it normally was. And even from that particular point, just like all of, you know, logistics that go along with it. So at the end of the class, my aerobic director came in, and she said to me, she said, "Oh gosh, you had a great class, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, it was like really awesome." She said, she came up to me, and I was standing like on the stage, right? Oh, by the stage. Okay, well, you know, you're up at the aerobic instructor. So she said, make sure you check the pulse of everybody that you're in the room, and take the pulse of those 3 dead bodies on the stage. So there was 3 bodies that were like in a pyramid on top of the stage. And I looked from the director over to over to the bodies. I'm like, really? This is in the dream. And I was like, really? Oh, wow. Okay. So, you know, I will. And then, you know, but here's the thing. On the other side of those bodies was Mom sitting in a chair waving.
Oh, wow.
So she was sitting in the chair waving. Okay. So I said, and I turned back, and then, you know, she said, well, and my aerobic director said, make sure you do it. So I turned again, looked at Mom was waving again on his other side. So she leaves out of the room, you know, and then we go on, you know, with the cool down, and I woke up from the dream. Okay. Well, here's a long, short story. So I get to teach my class that Monday. Mm-hmm. It was exactly the dream. Exactly. Okay. The women were off the chain. They were hollering, screaming. It was a great class. And my aerobic director came in and she said, wow, you guys had such a great time. And she walks in. She said, well, make sure you check the pulse of everybody in the room. Okay. But in the next question, she asked me, she said, how's your mom doing? I was like, oh my gosh, really? So, of course, coincidentally, the bodies weren't on top of the stage. Mom was on the other side. However, so I said, well, I'm going to check on her, you know, answering the question. I'm going to check on her, you know, when I get out of the class and what have you. So anyway, fast forward, we went through that point. So I, you know, called Mom, you know, and so on and so forth. And she was like very, very extremely weak. And I was telling her that I would not, I'm sorry, losing my train of thought here. I would be up to see her, you know, at the end of the week. So I heard her say that, don't worry, baby, because I'm not going to be here.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. You know, so I changed clothes, you know, and when you shouted went to get, you know, some veggies at, you know, places. So on the way home, I was living in Union City in Georgia at that time. Mm-hmm. And coming around 285, I heard our Creator said, I've got her. Literally. And I was like, what? You know, so I get home, and to the short of the story, I get home, get in the house, and at that time we had answering machines, you know, so I go and check my voicemail on my answering machine, and my brother called at 2:01 and said, Mom just transitioned. Oh wow. 2:01. And that was right at the point when I heard him say that she's with me.
That's something.
You know, so to speak to the fact that, yes, I believe it, you know, the fact in dreams are very, very powerful, you know, in that, but interpreting them the right way is the key aspect too, because you can get very far out there and it may not be saying exactly that, you know, in and of itself. But anyway, that was my little story. I know I took up too much time talking about that. Yeah, no, but anyway, go ahead, Harold.
No, but when we talk about deja vu, it makes me think about, I remember the first time I was in Black Enterprise, and I remember looking at the magazine, and I remember feeling like this had happened before.
Okay.
And what I realized, it had happened before in my imagination, in my dreams. I had dreamed about it and saw myself in the magazine, so many times. So when it actually happened, it was as if it had already happened before, but it had already happened before in my mind,
Exactly.
And that's such a powerful tool that we have, is the imagination, to be able to
dream
something into reality.
It is. One of the sad things is that that you and you talk about all the time is that what religion has done to humanity is to rob them of their imagination. Because if you could, it's like the same aspect of faith without works is dead, or believing is seeing, and all of the other things of seeing. Believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. You know what I mean? But believing is seeing. But you have to have creative imagination in order for that to manifest in your mind, to be able to see it, it come to pass for you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But religion has robbed people of their imagination, because they teach again. But we'll say that for the PSD show. Okay.
We'll kind of funny because even through the Bible, you had prophets like Joseph,
dreams,
who could interpret, and then you had, not Jonah, David in the lion den. David, remember David was David when they were held captive, and oh my goodness, what's the place over there in modern day Iran? What was it called? Oh my goodness. But he interpreted dreams too. It's just the fact that there. And I hear that, and it just that is mind-boggling right there, because there are stories where you had great prophets who dreamed dreams, who got their message through God through sleep. You know what I'm saying? Right. Jonah, that well, got his message through God in the belly of that well, and when he got the message, the well spit him out. And he had to go about doing what was the will of that moment.
God's point, the will of that moment. You know what I mean? That's a very powerful statement right there. Because you know what? I don't want to dig into that. We're not, because that's our PSD show.
Yes,
okay. We're going to the PSD right now. So we don't want to go into the PSD. It's good. But yeah, I know. But I want to put a paper clip on that, because that's going to be a really good show. That. And speaking of that, guys, we got a show called the PSD of Religion, or PSD of the Church. Okay, coming up in about 2 weeks. Okay, it's going to be a really, really great show. We encourage you guys to get prepared to tune into it. You're probably not going to like a lot of things it's going to be said, but it's okay. You'll be all right. Okay, but we're here to display the truth. Go ahead, what you say?
Just breathe through it.
Just breathe, okay? Just breathe. But we're here to discuss the truth behind the truth.
Yes.
And sometimes availing the truth to you, whether you believe something for a period of time in your life, you have to evolve. And number one thing, if you're not evolving spiritually, then you're already dead. Not physically, but dead spiritually. If you're not evolving spiritually, you're already dead. So you need somebody to come along and revive you, okay? and help you.
Let me just say this. When we do that show, I will have my information on lock.
Okay.
Right now, I felt like I was having a moment. I'm like, goodness, I know these stories, but goodness, the places in these stories. But we're gonna get that together.
Right, absolutely. It'll be a great show. But anyway, so anything you want to share about leaving 2020? How was coming into the new year for you? Or did you just kind of hang tight? What'd you do?
Well, I just stayed home, and it was just like an evening of gratitude, because just like you were saying, I was thinking about the song by the Winans that says millions didn't make it, but I was one of them who did, and just being grateful that I'm still here, and figuring out how to better use this time that we have, that I have. So that's what my focus was. But I actually was asleep before the midnight.
Do you also play that song? The CeCe Winans' first Christian album. Remember our first Christian CD, "Alone in the Presence"?
Right. Yes.
Have you ever listened to that song? That "Alone in the Presence"?
Oh yes, beautiful song.
That is a great song of meditation.
Beautiful song. By CeCe Winans.
By CeCe Winans. It's her first actual solo Christian CD. It's not gospel, it's definitely Christian.
Right.
People get that confused, gospel and Christian are two different types of, but it's just the fact that, that song itself, sometimes I have to play that before I go into work.
Wow.
I have to play that if I'm in the car by myself, if I'm driving and I'm going through all this stress, all this anxiety, I have to play that just to get myself settled,
right,
and get my mind stirred. That everything, just put my mind in the frame that everything is going to be all right.
Right, absolutely.
Because either though I'm walking into this, lion's den of a store, you're still with me.
Absolutely.
And that in itself is what I call, it's just, that's the foundation that, if you're not even a Christian, if you're a spiritualist, or if you believe in God and what form of fashion, you believe that somebody's going to be there to protect you or have your back.
Right.
Because, because people, this world was not the world, it's humanity
right,
that seems to be a little triggered these days, but you just got to have that frame of mind.
Absolutely. Do you have a point before we go to break here?
No, D, that's so important. I always say that we have to give ourselves to ourselves.
I like that.
Away, because so often we're just going out into the world without making sure that we're okay, checking in with ourselves and getting ourselves centered and making sure that we're connected to whatever we believe in, to remind us that, okay, I might be going into the lion's den, as you say, but everything is going to be all right because I'm not in this lion's den alone.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, we'll be right back with you after this commercial break. Hello, welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Again, I'm going to celebrate our YouTube viewers as well as our Facebook viewers and our Instagram. And I did fail to mention about our UK family as well.
Yeah,
that tunes in with us. So we're so glad that we are across the pond. We're across the pond, yes. And and also please go to the Truth Behind the Truth page, get that t-shirt.
Yes.
Don't forget it. Go to Harold's page, get that I Am Enough t-shirt, the I Am Enough book. the juicing book.
Please
get the book, get it all.
Get it.
Harold, take a minute to talk about your products real quick, and we're gonna dig back in.
Yes.
Go ahead, Harold.
So actually, I just want to mention January 8th, speaking of the book Juicing 101, we're doing a health reset challenge, a 21-day health reset challenge.
Okay.
Get our bodies and minds right for 2021.
Okay.
And it's 21 days because we know that it takes 21 days to create a habit.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we are striving to do during this challenge, is to not only to get healthier and to lose weight, but to change our habits so that it sticks. We don't want to just, do something that doesn't stick. We want to change our habits.
Make sure we have that we post those links and everything to all that on the Truth Behind Truth page too as well, Harold, so they can click right there and go right over to what they need to get in, to get in touch with you. And guys, you can always see Harold's post on Instagram as well. His juicing with shirt on and shirt off.
Listen toward the end of this year. We go through our transformation.
Okay. All right.
You might want to get.
I don't know about all that. I ain't that confident. That's all right. I ain't that confident. Even when I was small, I had this meditation situation I got going on right now. I wasn't that confident. No, that is for private viewing only. Okay.
Wait, and I waited till I was 50 to start taking off my shirt.
I know, right?
Maybe that's a middle age thing. Maybe that's a midlife crisis.
Is that what it was? Okay.
I think so.
Y'all know what? Let me ask you. Did y'all know is Harry Belafonte? He's still alive.
Yes,
he's still alive. He's 91. Is he 91 this year? I was about to. Isn't he a vegan as well? I think he is.
Maybe
he still looks good.
Amazing, yeah.
And his mind is still,
very sharp.
It's very sharp. Even though his voice is, seasoned, but his mind and his remembering of events is always on point. And I keep saying, is it because of the food or because you can only get there through that type of
absolutely.
Discipline.
Right. And
that's what I was about to ask. I said, I wonder if he's vegan. Because he looks so good, his skin is still tight. Mm-hmm. He still looks
like a prostate cancer survivor.
Wow. Okay. And maybe you could speak to that a little bit more. Just and then because I know we're just kind of getting the highlights together where we're going for the year and stuff like that. So you'll find us having different discussions tonight that you can chime in on whatever. But back to the nutritional aspect of it, I think that is so good to see that because when Danny was on the show, Danny's a vegetarian as well. So they prolong that, and then you're speaking of memorization. Oh my God, how much information he poured out on us that night that everybody was like, oh my God, like beaming down. And reminder, guys, if you had not seen the Danny Glover episode of the show, you guys need to go back. Okay, you need to go back and see that show. Matter of fact, you need to go back and see all of our shows from last year. But the Danny Glover show, the ending of the
and he had good friends, Harry Belafonte, and
they are
very good friends.
They are good
so
friends.
He might have gotten that from Harry.
Probably so.
He might have gotten.
But go ahead, Errol. Speak to that. One thing I want to ask you about is that I meant to text you about we got the black seed oil tablets. I've been religiously taking. So speak about black seed oil and where it does with the body, and what is the expectation over what period of time, if you can kind of give that analysis.
So I'll just go back to how I became aware of black seed oil. So 5 years ago, when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I met an herbalist. Who told me about black seed oil because it was something that she recommended to her clients who had any type of cancer. Because what it does is it reduces cancer cells and it releases toxins out of the body. It reduces mucus and inflammation in the body. And what happens is most diseases are caused by some type of mucus or inflammation in the body. Other high blood pressure, it's all inflammation in the body. And so what black seed oil does is it helps to reduce and eliminate that mucus out of the body. Because what happens is we're so exposed to so many toxins, not just in our food. We just typically think about our food, but it's all in the environment, in the air.
Yes.
Even if you take your clothes to the cleaners, there's toxins in it.
There's toxins in it, yes.
Toxins get into
chemicals.
they get into your skin. And so what black seed oil does, it helps to remove that. because that's the root cause of most diseases and ailments. It's the
Wow.
that build up in our body that our bodies don't eliminate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a point to that, and you know what? And I didn't think about that when we clean our clothes. There is toxin because at times I don't know if it's just a yearly thing with me. Like in the middle of the year, I just tend to break out literally, and I have this thing I scratch, and I do all of this because I get bad rashes right here, sometimes around here, and I'm thinking, why is it like every year I go through this? I know I have, when it comes down to sinuses, when it comes down to my allergies, that could be a factor in that. It's like everything, I just break out in hives. And sometimes you be like, why are you scratching? Why are you scratching? And I said, probably just basic dry skin, but it might be more to that. And when you explained the toxins that we have in our body, it could be, like you say, it's not only from what we eat, but from what we breathe, sometimes from what we wear and what we put on our skin. So it's just the fact that our body's trying to fight that.
Right.
It's a battle, constant battle. I always say that whenever I feel like there's something wrong with me in the moment, if I'm sweating, I would say my body is going through a typical battle.
Right.
Whatever that's going on around me is fighting it off, sweat-wise or fever-wise, or my stomach might be aching that I want to get whatever I want. It's battling that. So
inflammation is a protective mechanism. So when we have some kind of ailments in our body, our body experiences inflammation.
Yes.
But it's important that we don't that elimination doesn't stay, because it attracts ailments and disease like
exactly. Well, one of the things that I've experienced, even here, and I don't like to claim hold of something that bothers you every year, but it seems like something always wants to try to get in and give me a little slight cold or a congestional situation, usually around the fall every year. And I wonder, why does that happen? It's like it's targeted, that point. And I'm fighting a little something right now. And I think this is probably my fault, because number one, here in California, it's always very dusty. And then you're also you're trying to get your body's trying to get adjusted to the new environment. So therefore, in its process, it's going to do all these things, to ward off whatever's there, or make you do something to ward off that's there, or to make it more quick.
Right.
And I'm a person, I don't like pills, even though I have to take them. I don't like them. At some point, I wish again I could be off them and not ever have to deal with them ever again. But like as you said, environmental situations really affect us. That this is why we're looking forward to really digging into in the next couple. We're going to dig into this juicy and really try to get refocused. He's put the book up. Everybody get that book. Amazon, go get it. Go get it.
Because the body is designed to heal.
It is.
In order for it to heal itself, we have to fuel it with proper nutrition. That's something that they don't talk about in the media or the government, because they don't benefit that. They make money from prescriptions, from selling prescriptions and surgeries and that sort of thing. But if we're fueling our bodies with the appropriate nutrients, our bodies will heal itself.
Right.
But first we got to cleanse out the toxins, so that our bodies can absorb the nutrients, that it needs.
Well, you know what? Forgive me if my mom, who's probably watching this, forgive me if I tell the story wrong. My grandma used to tell us this all the time when it referred to why would sick people always stay sick. She used to tell us the story about this doctor who had a hospital, a little doctor's office, and he would take care of certain patients, and he had just hired a new doctor to come in and kind of help him into curing these patients or keeping tabs on them. Right. So one patient came in and she had given him the rundown of her symptoms and all that stuff. And he said, well, why did you not do this? You can easily go and, get this and get that, and it should go away. Well, the other doctor said that I just needed to come to y'all and make sure that, he would give me the rundown of what I needed to do. He said, no, you don't have to do that. Sure enough, the woman got healed, and the other doctor was like, what was the purpose of you doing that? Right. She was like, well, needed my advice. I gave her the right advice. I gave her the right medication, the right place to go to get the medication. He said, well, that robs me of my money.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That robs me. If she was to stay sick, I would still have a job.
Right, exactly.
I would still have a steady income. Exactly. It's not to say that all doctors are like that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there are doctors who do, what they call it, malpractice. That's another form of malpractice. If I'm incorrect, please comment, y'all, because this is just weird. Hey, listen, I might know these words, but sometimes you just pray for me. But it's just the fact that, we have people like that like to keep people sick. Yes. It makes them money. It keeps the insurance companies going.
Right.
It keeps the insurance. Oh my goodness! It keeps it keeps them from putting all this money in.
Typically the medical community, and we will probably say the community by heart, and that's including the drug industry, is the highest profitous companies in the world.
In America,
in the world. No, not in this America, in the world, because you have to figure that all these drug companies produce these drugs for everybody on this planet that's subject to it. And you also have to remember that is another thing, it's a sales process. Okay, so for every drug pusher, hypothetically, that goes into these doctors' offices, these our cousin is a drug, not a drug pusher, but he what is it? The one that sells pharmaceutical sales, right? Exactly.
Blue Cross Bruce.
No, pharmaceutical sales.
Okay.
But and they go in for that because they have these big ticket items going to these doctors to push these pills.
Right.
So.
No, I was going to say, in the United States, 48% of all Americans are on at least one prescription medication.
Wow.
Most are on more. Folks that are over 50, 75% of all people over 50 are on at least one prescription medication. And here's the challenge with most of the prescription medication is that they create toxicity in the body. They have side effects and they're toxic to the body. So you take a pill for this, it often affects something else.
Right. And you have to take a pill for that.
For that, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that creates toxicity in the body.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's amazing because your body is battling against back and forth. Like I say, you take a pill for this, then it automatically gets a reaction in the body, and you go back to that. Right. Well, this is happening. Okay, well, let me prescribe this to go with this. So then there's two medications that you're on. Okay, then that was probably going to have some sort of side effect. You know what I mean? So then here comes a third medication that you're on. And the list can go on depending upon what's going on in one's body. I mean, at the end of the day, as a rule. So, but like you were saying, it's unfortunate that's how money is moved in our society. It's typically the medical community is the hugest producer of money on the planet. You think about right now, all these people that are the COVID that's hit, all these people that are in the ICU.
Oh yeah. Do
you know literally how much it costs a person to be in ICU per day? Over $2,000 per day, over $2,000 a day to be carried in ICU. So you figure these people that have been, unfortunately, had to be incubated and all this type of things in dealing with the COVID, and they've been in the hospital, 30, 60 days. You're talking about $300,000-$400,000.
People like Giuliani, oh my God, and Trump, who had been in the hospital for 3 days.
Right.
3 days.
Right.
It took them 3 days to get whatever they needed to get and get out.
Right.
While you have people, like you said, still in these ICUs,
right,
that are still laying there, and their insurance bills are going up. And this absolutely is sad, though, that people are complaining. Well, the hospitals are being they're being overrun by all of these COVID cases, but nobody's talking about the fact that there are people in these hospitals that might not have a job, or might not have the benefits of paying off of these hospital costs,
astronomical bills. I mean, and you think about that. I mean, and it's really sad that what we still see going on in America, even though the vaccination is here, all 9 yards. But it's very sad to see the amount of people that are in hospitals across this country. Typically here in California, I mean, in Los Angeles County, there are virtually no beds in ICUs. For people, at this particular point in time. But like you said, just dealing with the cost factor behind it is extremely huge.
Yeah.
But, I want to do a little PSA just guys, please put on your mask. Okay. Please. Okay. Please wear your mask. No. I ain't saying please. Put on the damn mask.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Bottom line, all right, it's just that simple. Put on the damn mask, okay? So the country can get past this virus, okay? Because we need everybody to support together. Oh, I know you had a point here. I need to call somebody out, and I said I was going to do it today. Kirk Cameron.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, I am completely outdone with you, and I hope you see and hear this coming from my mouth. If you want to say, okay, I'm completely outdone with you. Okay, this is absolutely here in Los Angeles. You're supposed to be following the headship of Christ, calling yourself a Christian, but you're leading people into deception. Okay, the scriptures clearly tell you to abide by the laws of the land. Okay, and you are out of line. Okay, clearly out of line, holding events unmasked with people. You're clearly out of line. Okay, so don't come up with this Christian, crap. Okay, like you always, and I'm a Christian by heart. He's a Christian by heart. Harold's a Christian by heart as well. Okay, stop it. Okay, because you're leading people astray and it's not right. Okay, bottom line. I'm calling you out on it. You are out of line having an event unmasked. Okay, wow. Promote and all, I'm sorry. And all he had to do, he announced it, he pulled it together on Instagram, right? All he had to do was say, come, we're joining together, but please make sure you wear your mask.
But
that's all he had to do.
But the scary thing about that, there were children out there too.
Absolutely.
And the fact, the star of Growing Pains back in the 80s. Yeah. And his sister, she runs
Cameron Bure.
Yeah, Hallmark. She does all the Hallmark promotions and stuff like that and ads. But it's just sad that even him, somebody who has that type of influence, will do this. And then you putting people in harm's way. I don't know. There was a Republican that just passed not too long ago. He had just ran for office and died from COVID. I haven't gotten his name yet, but I saw him on the news, and he was one of the youngest Republicans that were running this year. But it's just the fact that, age, this thing has no limit on age.
Right.
Everybody, and there is a UK, now there's a new strand that just hit here in California and some other place, I think in Texas and
Florida.
In Florida. They said it's more contagious, it's stronger, it's a stronger strand than the one that we've been dealing with for the past year, since last year. Right. So, people can keep playing these games with humanity and saying, well, it's not going to bother me because I'm still young, I'm still fit, I still feel good, and I don't think it's real. But it's not about you.
Right.
Let's just make that, it's not about you.
Right.
And I think that's what's wrong in our culture. We always think it's about me. It's me in the moment. Right. It's me doing what I want to do when I want to do it because I'm an American. But it's just, it's one of those unfortunate, that mindset that we as a culture always want to build that is me. I got to rise. I got to do me. I got to be me. It's all about me. When it's not always about you in the moment. It's about a community. Right. It's about making sure that your mother, your father, your nieces and nephews.
Or what about just the fact that humanity, somebody else's mother
or somebody else's? Yeah.
About your look at me. But go ahead.
Go ahead here. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, when we're talking about the expense and how expensive it is to be sick in America, it is medical expense is one of the number one reasons people file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
You go to the hospital, you can't afford, to pay those bills. It's one of the number one triggers to folks having to file bankruptcy because it's just so expensive to be sick in America. It's just,
it truly is.
And everywhere else is universal health care. Everywhere else in the world, everybody is taken care of. It's just here, capitalism still holds
at its best.
Right.
Guys, I'm sorry. Guys, we're going to take another quick commercial break and we'll be right back with you. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we're back. Welcome again to The Truth Behind the Truth. I want to welcome all of our viewers. Thank you for tuning in. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, UK.
Yeah.
They're all with us.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and dig in for the last little bit of the show. Harold, do you want to bring up anything about going into 2021 and some focal points and stuff that we want to share with everybody tonight?
Well, I think for 2021, I never set New Year's resolutions.
Right, exactly.
But it's just about refocusing and making, like I was saying earlier, making ourselves a priority,
Yes.
And for me, that starts with gratitude. So
yes,
making a practice of doing things like having a gratitude journal to remind ourselves of what we're grateful for. Because there's so many things that we're dealing with, so many challenges that we're facing. It's important that we take time to pause to focus on what's working, what's good, what things that we are expecting, because when we put ourselves in a positive space energetically, we'll attract more positivity to us.
That's true.
It's easy to fall into the negative treadmill because that's what we're hearing, that's what we're seeing. So it's important that we take time just to focus on ourselves,
It's so true.
Things like having a gratitude journal and developing habits that will help us move forward. That's the only way we change is through our habits. You can have all the dreams and goals, but if you don't change your habits, those things that you do on a daily basis, you'll continue year after year be in the same place. So it's about changing our habits.
Right. It's amazing, and I was going to touch on you've touched on where I was going to go with that people they take their perception on the difference of a calendar moment. You know what I'm saying? You made it over. Yeah. And all of the above and between. But I told several people prior to, the new year coming in, I said, if you have not changed, yourself, what's going to make a difference? It's one day to the next because you still operate the same way you did last year. How are you going to expect something else different this year? And if you want to get really, really deep about it, in terms of that, that how it's viewed, if we want to look at it in the perspective of how our Creator, Scripture says that 1 year is 1,000 years to our Creator.
Right.
So we really just on 2,000 years at this point.
Right. Well, you know what?
You know what I'm saying? So we got thousands, another 3,000 years. We got another 4,000 years before we get to 7.
Right. And guess what? And we don't need a calendar year to trigger us to change because every day is a new beginning. Every day we wake up, we have an opportunity to do something different, to rise up stronger, wiser. We've all been through challenges this year. We've all been through stuff and have felt like we have been beaten up. But guess what? We didn't stay down. We got back up. Right. And every time we get back up, we get back up stronger, wiser, when we're open to it. Because sometimes we get back up and we go back into the same mindset and we recreate the same things. But if we start the new day and look at it as a new beginning for me to think differently, to do differently, and to believe differently, that's when we start to create real change.
That's true. I agree. Go ahead, Jermaine.
I was about to say, did you watch the New Year's Eve special?
Which one?
With Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper.
Yes, some of it, not the whole.
J-Lo performed that night at a significant moment, and I posted this on Instagram. If you saw it, where she slides, and she slides into the camera. I said, we should all, and I thought about it. I said we should all slide into 2021 with caution. In the back of my mind, I said, this is a very significant moment for 2021 because we need to take caution a little bit because none of us have received our $600.
You know what? we not
$600. Where's my $600?
Lord, that's what that now. He said we gotta slide into 2021 office because COVID. Listen, you can change. You got your New Year resolution, but there must be a caution sign there because I'm telling you, I saw it when she slid into that camera. I said, "Oh wow." I just had to bring that up. I'm so sorry.
No, don't bring it. Hey,
that was a moment for me. I was like, ooh, that's kind of ooh. That's 2021 right there. We did 2020, but I see it now in 2021. Sliding with caution, people. Red light, caution.
One thing, Harold, I think piggybacking on what you said earlier too, and encapsulating what you're talking about, if anything, we stepped out of 2020 into 2021 with clearer vision.
Yes, we did.
Okay. 2020 gave you an opportunity to align your vision. You see what I'm saying? Now you know what to expect. Now you know how to go into situations because you have seen it for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? You have seen the behaviors of certain pockets of humanity and how degrading it can be. We have seen the idiocy of a man that occupied the White House for 4 years and did nothing to benefit the American people, but a certain sector of the American people that you feel that because he gave you the go with all to step out of your hidden closet and show up your racial prejudices, your bigotry, and all these other type of things, the police brutality situations and all that type of stuff. So we have seen all of that. Even within the exposure of different levels of behaviors within the Black Lives Matter community. Okay, because everybody ain't on the same page. Okay, at the end of the day, all right? So, but we've seen all of that. So now we're in 2021 with a solid vision. Okay, don't let what happened 48 hours ago, you know what I'm saying, keep lingering on you when you've already stepped into a greater opportunity of now. Your now is what's important. Your now. What are you doing right now? Because your now is what's going to affect your future. It's going to next second. My encouragement to people too, start looking at your lives in milliseconds. Milliseconds. Okay? Because that's even to the time that you blinked your eye, okay, or taking in enough deep breaths, or to swallow your own saliva or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Because these are things that we do unnoticing within that millisecond.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just breaking it down that way, within that millisecond. So if those things, those actions are taking place in your life on a regular basis, without you somewhat knowingly, start paying attention to the milliseconds of knowingly what you're doing. Knowing what you're saying, knowing how you're saying it, knowing how you approach a person, and knowing how you approach your day, your life, your finding that you are enough, okay, so that you can be authentic for that day, and moving in that realm of possibility. And then you will see, again, 2020 vision of a better life for your life in 2021. Okay. However, and here's the last point that I don't know if you guys got something, chime into the last part is that if your focus gets deviated in 2021, you will get the same results you got in 2020. Right. Okay, you'll get the same results. So change the paradigm, change the way you do it, and move forward into it. Okay, that's my part. Go ahead, Harold. You got something?
No, so I just want to say that my hope is that people will realize that they are enough, that they really are enough, and that they don't have to settle. I think sometimes pain becomes a habit. Sometimes we get used to being in painful situations and don't think that we are worthy to live a life of abundance, a life of peace, a life of joy. Some of us, just because of our early trauma, just don't know that we are worthy. Right. And I think that it's so important that we learn to detach and disassociate with things that don't honor us. Right. Whether it's, people, places, or things, we have to learn to not even learn, muster up the courage to let go of things that don't honor us. Nina Simone said it this way. She says, you have to learn how to leave the table when love is no longer being served.
I love that. Yes.
You have to learn how to leave. And so many of us are sitting at tables where we are not receiving love.
Right.
We're receiving pain, heartache, and it kills a little bit inside of us when we allow ourselves to stay in places that don't honor us. And so hopefully this year, 2021, we all will step into our power and walk into places that only honor us, that only honor us.
Absolutely. Go ahead. You can close the
Oh, and I wholeheartedly receive that, Harold, and I receive what you said. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, we all just need to accept and be, well, you know, we talked about this before the show about consideration and showing empathy towards people. You know, every day is always going to be a challenge, regardless of whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to change. It's going to be a challenge, but it's how you deal with it.
Right.
And for 2021, I feel like as humanity, we need to deal with things. We need to compartmentalize a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
Because everybody is not alike. I think every time we have a bad experience with something or somebody, we like to really group a whole lot of people in.
Oh my gosh. That is
so true. Group something in. And I feel like that's what ruins the experience. That was a bad experience. I even had to learn this myself, going through the process of just this journey by myself. Mm-hmm. I had a very, very bad experience in the past with people. Mm-hmm. And I used to say, well, you know, I used to just group these whole bunch of people into this group and say, well, this is how they all act. I just don't have time. Then I realized, no, it's just that was a situation, a disagreement, and I should move past that and just hope for the best for somebody else. Right. Not just, because this incident with one person. Mm-hmm. I just feel like at the end of the day, we need to compartmentalize a whole lot of things better in this year than we did in previous years, last year.
Gotcha. Guys, it's been a great show tonight. Okay, once again, just a couple of reminders of shows that we've got coming up. We've got Men Have Voices Too. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, that's going to be an awesome show. I mean, we're going to have actor Keith Burke back for that show, as well as actor Sean Baker. We'll be back on for that particular show and another surprise guest as well. Yeah. You'll be a part of that show. We're also going to do a show called PSD of the Church. Okay. Get ready to dig into that. Okay. That may be an 8-part series. Okay.
Very
provocative show. Yes, indeed. Woo. And then we're going to have the writers page too coming up too, which is some great authors that we're having back on the show with that as well. So a lot of great things being tuned for us in January with Truth Behind the Truth.
Yeah. And on that note, people, please go out and buy
Tyra's
book, Tyra Code LGBT QIAP. It's really a good read if you want to be enlightened.
Yes.
On the culture.
All kinds of questions. And answers.
We'll have her back.
Yeah, Tyra will be back on the writer's page as well. Actually, she confirmed that she'll be back. Yeah. Anyway, guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Harold, hey, we love you, brother.
Yeah.
This is the family. Harold. Guys, we thank you for tuning in tonight for the Truth Behind the Truth. We will be back and apologize for the delay tonight and getting started with the technical difficulties, but we'll be back on time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central time, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Guys, we love you. Have an awesome week. Continue to enjoy your new year. Make sure that it is what you set out for it to be and nothing less. No resolutions, just make commitments. Amen. All right? Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Have a great night, guys. Thanks. Bye.